Sitting in front of our computers and lying in bed with our phones has taken a lot of the physical activity out of our lives. We as a society have decided to try and fix this problem with even more technology. In this video, we'll take a look at how fitness trackers can help you track different metrics and how the data can be used to give you a full picture of your health. Let's start by figuring out what kind of information a fitness tracker needs to track. The device that gave rise to the concept of the fitness tracker was the pedometer. That's a weird sounding name, but it was basically a dedicated step counting device. You'd put it in your pocket and the device would use the movement of your legs and hips to count your steps. These days, you don't need a pedometer to track your steps. Your phone can do it, and it's usually the most basic feature of any wearable fitness device. Step counting is important for fitness because you definitely want to know how many calories you burn while walking or running. But these days, companies understand that fitness is more about calories than steps. Fitness trackers these days track your burnt calories by your heart rate, but that's not the end of the story. Meal logging apps let you track your calorie intake, and workout apps let you log the exact workouts you do. These two apps paired with a wearable device are enough for your weight loss journey, but there's a whole ecosystem of health devices and apps that basically let technology do all the healthy thinking for you. But this video is about fitness trackers, so let's look at the ways devices can collect specific data about your fitness. Now that we're past the days of the pedometer, how do devices track your steps? There are two components in modern devices that allow them to track your steps. Both of these components can be found in wearable devices, but they're also present in your phone. That's why you don't necessarily need a fitness tracker for the task of counting your steps. The first is an accelerometer. As the name suggests, accelerometers are sensors that can track their acceleration in different directions along 3 axes. To make that less complicated, what it basically does is it allows the device to know when it's moving up or down or left or right. You can imagine that the up and down motion allows the device to figure out when you're walking or running. And today's devices can go even further. Just by using this one sensor, some of the devices available today can figure out if you are biking or on the elliptical or even hiking. The second is GPS. See, it isn't enough to know that you're walking. You'd also want your fitness tracker to tell you how fast you're walking and how far. That's where the GPS comes in. GPSs don't track your exact coordinates, and naturally, they can track the change in your coordinates from one location to another. Combined with accelerometer data and a Maps app, a device can give you the exact picture of where you walked and how fast you walked. But we said that this isn't just about steps. How do fitness trackers measure your heart rate? Well, your steps can be counted on your phone. If you want true calorie tracking, you will have to invest in a wearable fitness tracker. Basically, all of them are equipped with heart rate sensors these days, and heart rate is what allows you to accurately work out how many calories you're burning. When you think of heart rate monitoring, you probably imagine a trip to the cardiologist. And sure, for medical purposes, doctors do need to physically wire you up to get your electrocardiogram, but for everyday use, you don't need all that. Fitness bands and watches track your heart rate using nothing more than an LED light and some algorithms. The concept is similar to the pulse oximeter that nurses use when taking your vitals. When you use your tracker, the underside is pressed against your wrist. An LED can shine bright enough to go through the skin and illuminate the blood vessels in your wrist. The way the blood vessels look under the light gives the tracker enough data to figure out your heart rate. Keeping this LED on constantly would drain the battery. So fitness trackers can only measure your heart rate at intervals. But again, you don't need very fine tracking for everyday use. Having looked at step counting and heart rate monitoring, how do these things come together to provide calorie tracking? In the days of the pedometer, your device would contain an algorithm to calculate the amount of calories burned from your steps. But that isn't a precise calculation because each person's body is different and burns calories in a different way. Heart rate tracking allows a fitness tracker to know how many calories the specific body wearing the tracker is burning. There are other benefits to judging your calories from heart rate. You see, we often make the mistake of thinking that the only way to burn calories is through exercise. In reality, the body is always burning a certain amount of calories. You could be lying in bed and watching this video, but your lungs and heart and other organs are still working, and they need energy to work. It gets this energy through the bloodstream, so there's a direct link between calorie consumption and heart rate. By tracking your heart rate, a fitness tracker can tell you how many calories you burn throughout the day, regardless of what you do. Did you work out today? Did you stand around a lot. Or maybe you spent the whole day sleeping. Regardless, your heart rate was logged and your burned calories were tracked. It has to be said though that all this data is only as good as the way it's used. Fitness trackers are great at simply collecting data, but the tiny screens aren't great for using apps. That's why every fitness tracker needs to be paired with a big brother device like a phone. And it's only through your phone that you can actually do anything with all that data. One example we mentioned before was with calories. If your fitness tracker says that you burned 600 calories while you ate 4,000 calories, you're almost certainly eating more calories than your recommended intake. You might find yourself glaring at your fitness tracker as the weight scale moves in the wrong direction. If you were to log your meals though, that data could be combined with the burnt calorie data from your fitness tracker to tell you your exact calorie intake for the day. That would give you a much fuller picture of your weight loss journey. There's more to fitness than just weight loss, of course. Maybe your goal is to get jacked. There too, it's important to track your calories and macros. What if you're trying to build up your cardio fitness? The heart rate sensor in most fitness trackers can also track your blood oxygen level. Some people need these devices just to keep a check of their cardiac or pulmonary health. Fitness trackers are tools. They're really great tools, but a tool is only as good as the way it's used. If you've embarked on a fitness journey and you're augmenting it with a fitness tracker, you should spend some time familiarizing yourself with the functions of your tracker and what apps you can use to take advantage of those functions. And before we sign off, what are some other things that we think you should track? Here's an idea. If you're on iOS, open up your Health app. That'll be Samsung Health on their devices and Google Fit for most other Android phones. Open the app and check out the insane list of things that you can track. There'll probably be some categories that only the tiniest handful of people would need to track. Here are two of our recommendations for what health things we think are worth tracking. Fitness trackers often advertise their sleep tracking capabilities, and we highly recommend looking into this. You'd be shocked with how disturbed your sleep cycle is, and it's true for most people these days. With an eye to your sleep tracking, try to get your sleep cycle in shape. Get your daily 8 hours and look into ways to smooth out your cycle. It's so easy to underestimate the importance of a healthy sleep cycle, but trust us, once you get your sleep right, you'll feel superhuman. Try tracking your hydration too. Have you ever noticed how, despite the weather outside, we've kind of figured out how to make the ideal climate conditions indoors? The fact that we don't sweat much day to day messes with our thirst, which is the body's natural warning signal that you need water. Track your water intake, making sure to get the recommended level of hydration every day. There are even smart water bottles out there that can independently measure your water intake and give you notifications for when it's time to drink up. After all, no matter what your fitness target is, hydration is an important part of that goal. That's it for our video today. Do you own a fitness tracker? If not, have you been inspired by this video to get one? We're calling on all fitness tracker owners to drop their recommendations in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.